Last night I was lying in bed thinking about redstone ideas as I always do, and I started to think to myself, wouldn't it be really cool if we could have hidden away infinite water sources? So you press a button and then suddenly the infinite water source pops up out of the ground, because those things aren't particularly good looking. I don't really want them sitting around my base, but it would be nice to have one available. But then I thought to myself, wouldn't it be even cooler if we had a sort of pop-up swimming pool system that also doubles up as an infinite water source? And that's what we're going to try our best to build today. Now, as much as this seems like a really simple concept, it's one of those things that I think is going to be a little bit more tricky than I was first expecting. So what we're going to have is we're going to have double piston extenders going all the way around like this in this 3x3 area, and they're going to be pointing up like that, and then we're going to have to work out some way to create a block swapper system. Now, two of the sides are going to be quite obvious because we can just push them across, but it's swapping out these blocks. That's where things are going to get quite interesting. So I've laid out all of the pistons that are going to be swapping out the blocks on either edge here. This sticky piston in the center is going to be specifically for clearing out this bit of water, because obviously otherwise that will stay where it is and then you'll have water flooding through your base, which isn't going to be particularly very good. So that will pop up and then retract just as these blocks get retracted, so you remove all of the water from the surface. And I've actually just thought, we only need that piston once, and then we can actually move it out of the way. So I'm trying to work out how we're going to swap out the blocks in this location, but it might be worth just adding these pistons in the center and pushing the entire thing across, including that sticky piston in the center, and just shifting it all over and replacing it all with iron blocks and then having it all pop up to the surface. I don't know, maybe that might work. That might be the way to do it. It's a nice idea, but now that we've got the double piston extenders in, it's highlighted another issue, which is the fact that we need to have blocks on both of these observers right here to allow for the double pistons to extend, which means that if we were to push this entire thing across, we would need to make sure that we made room for that. So we've got a block on that observer there, and we have a block on that observer there. Okay, so that would have been pushed off. Okay. So that needs to be iron. And then we need to make sure that we have 3 bits of iron. And then we need to make sure that we have a block ready for the observer. So this central piston has to push a lot more blocks, because we need to make sure that we have 5 blocks so that when we replace all of the blocks underneath, we have a block above both of those observers. I don't know if I'm making sense here. I'm trying to work this out in my head. Okay, hopefully this helps things. So our stairs are going to be up at this level. So this is going to be the floor level. So our stairs will be up here. This is where our pool is going to be. And the first thing that's going to happen is these stairs are going to get retracted downwards like that. And then what will happen is that this will kick in, pushing all of those blocks across like that. And then these pistons here will extend, pushing up the blocks like this, and we'll have a completely flat with the floor area, including that block in the center. Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully I can make the circuitry work around it, but there is some real complications here. For example, extending just these sticky pistons on their own is gonna be tough, because, well, we don't have much space to work with. We're using the observer double piston extenders here, which are really the only designs that we can use in this space. And the issue is that there's no real way to run an input into any of these pistons here. So, I mean, I've done some work with some sticky pistons, and I think I've worked out something that I can do, which is, if I retract them quickly, you can see that we update the pistons as the observers fire, but you need to time it perfectly. So that's going to be something that I'm going to have to struggle with. But also, I have no idea how I'm going to do this one over here, because I imagine if we have a sticky piston here, yeah, that gets activated. That's not so good, because that means it's also going to be activated if we move the piston over here. It's going to get activated by this circuit. So there's nothing really that we can do. There really is nothing that we can do there to activate that observer in any way. In any way, I can't think of anything. Other than by powering a block in the center. That's not a bad idea. So if we have some form of circuitry in the center here, obviously, generally speaking, we'll have a sticky piston in the center. We're going to need circuitry in the center here anyway. No, that's still not going to work. Because we can't have it activating these pistons when we just want to spit out the blocks. Unless we time it perfectly. I am so sorry for all of the confusion that I'm causing here. I mean, it's one of those things that I'm just trying to suss this out. This is a really odd one to try and get working, but I think I might be onto something now. Yeah, so I have all of the circuits actually mapped out and they're all wired in. So each individual circuit that we need to function is now operational. We have all the piston extenders, we have the single piston extenders, we've got the double piston extenders working, and we have the central sticky piston all working as well. Now we just need to link them up and have them all timed correctly, which is about 90% of the redstone circuitry. I think I might have just pulled off the retraction sequence. I mean, that looks pretty promising to me, and it also works with the extension. So if we push those back up, I'm going to try this for the first time with water, which is a little bit nerve-wracking, but here goes. Nice! Oh, wow! Okay, so that's worked perfectly first time. That doesn't happen very often. Okay, this is one that has me a little bit lost. So if I power this with a lever, we have working double piston extenders. Look, you can see I'm powering it with a lever on that redstone dot. But if I power this dot with a repeater, we don't have double piston extenders. And it doesn't matter where that repeater goes. There's nothing going on under here. That doesn't make much sense to my little head. I've now fixed that, so let's just test out the first retraction. So there it goes. And there was the push across. Brilliant. And then we just need to push up these blocks and that will actually be that done. And now that that's done, I just want to say this is an incredibly satisfying thing to watch. Check this out, look. Oh. Ooh, that's not so good. Now, it's actually due to the way that the observers are causing those pistons to extend. So the observer is actually kicking in over here, being pushed across, and as it updates the piston actually extends for 2 ticks, which isn't good. So what I'm going to try my best to do is chain some updates here, which will hopefully make that work. So these are now going to switch over to 3 ticks, and 3 ticks on this side. And then we'll see. Yes! That worked! So now I think you'll all agree that this is a very satisfying thing to watch. There we go! So there it is, completely flush with the floor, and now we just have to do the re-extension circuitry, which has now all been completed, and that rounds up this entire build. Hopefully it all functions, but you know what, I'm feeling so confident that it is actually going to work first time that I'm going to do it with water inside the circuitry, which could be a bit of a brave maneuver. But anyway, here we have all of the water in our pool. We have got our floor around it. Now, when we flick this lever right here, we should see oh, okay, yeah, this is why you don't get confident about things. Okay, let's try this again. If we flick the lever, we should see that now it will actually be retracted out of the way, and it has been pushed across. And there we go. There is our flooring. And then if we flick the lever again, fingers crossed this all works perfectly. What? Oh, this has to be a joke. There's a visual glitch. there's nothing I can do about that if that's the case. Because that means that the stair is being rotated as it's being pushed for no reason. That's a bug. There's nothing we can do about it. So having built this entire thing, I mean, maybe if I've just replaced all of the blocks around the outside with transparent objects. That sometimes fixes this sort of thing. But it's fine until it gets to there. The one time where we need it. Well, I mean, it looks, in a way, it looks quite nice. Sort of. I'm guessing if we update it, I'm assuming all of the water. It's purely visual. It's purely visual. There's nothing I can do. Absolutely nothing I can do. This looks really cool. Okay, so I've kind of I'm making designer swimming pools here. I've changed up some of the repeater timings, and this is what's happened. Which is, it's bizarre, but it's quite cool. I wonder what else we can do with this. I'm trying to fix it. I am genuinely trying to fix this, but we can definitely have some fun with it. So if I change all of these to 4 ticks, what on earth happens there? It breaks but fixes itself. So we've got a pool, but we've... Ah. I knew the fun was going to end at some point. Having messed around with the timings and had some pretty serious spillages in the process, I think I finally might have nailed this down. Now, this worked without the water, but I'm not sure it will work with the water, but it does. There we go. Swimming pool done. We have got ourselves a fully functional pop-up swimming pool that can be hidden underneath the ground. Wow, that was a tricky one to build, but there it is. There is the retraction. Obviously, all of it is completely hidden underneath the ground, and then if we flick the lever once again, everything gets pushed out of the way, and we get ourselves a pop-up infinite water source. So if I put myself into game mode 0... or survival, I guess, I can pick up water from the center there, and it all gets automatically replenished by the system. Nice! Okay, so there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We finally got there in the end. I hope that you enjoyed this Redstone video. If you did, please drop to that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Oh, and as per usual, check out the latest film on the filming channel, latest mini documentary released just the other day. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Link will be on the end screen.